Welcome everyone. I hope you have had or are still enjoying a great weekend. This is the Dow on the weekly chart. The fibs on the 2008 highs and the 2009 lows busted up through that 2008 2007 highs, I should say, and all the pullbacks are getting bought, and we are still making new highs. This is an all-time weekly high, best weekly close so far. Here's the channel. So came out of the channel, bottom of the channel on autumn 2011. Since then, we've been in the channel. We've touched the top of the channel, tested the lower range or the mid-range, and now we're heading back to the upper part of the channel. So the upper part of the channel has got that pegged at 15,720. It's a weaker close. We had 3 weeks of buying, and there's a slightly weaker close. We've got very little data this week. There's some decent pound data, GDP. That's the only real thing of note. Not a lot else otherwise. So if we put this down to the daily and then pan back, you can see we're not quite, yes, we have closed above the high of May. So this is extremely bullish. RSI is getting high. Well, it's just coming up to the 70 mark, but this is still a pullback of 15,500 to see if we can get to 15,750, at which point, well, it's still not top of the channel. I mean, top of the channel is about 16,000 plus, just over 16,000, so 440 points above us. Okay, stochastics are high, the RSI is high, so be wary. Be wary, but don't stop buying pullbacks until it stops working. Alright, so let's have a look at the Nikkei and the FTSE. Now that's a weekly, so it's daily, isn't it? That's a daily hangman to me. Big drop, came right underneath the week's, tested the week's lows and closed just under the week's high. I think that will create a bit of a downforce now. I think that's a hangman bar. To me, it's like an inverted star. So I think the early part of the week that will drag that down. And if we can hold monthly R1, then possibly we can make our way up. Here's the FTSE on a daily chart. That is also a hangman bar. So I think perhaps the early part of the week could be a pullback to 6,600, possibly lower, possibly 65.74, before retesting 67.22. Okay, these charts are very high. Let's look at the currency pairs. Let's look at the strength of the dollar first. Well, this is the US dollar. Swissy on the daily. That's under the 50 EMA, under the trend line. This is weak. US dollar CAD. It's under the 50 EMA, under the trend line. This is weak. So let's go to the pound US dollar. That's broken above and closed above the 50 EMA and the trend line. That is a pullback to 152.40. You may get lower. But that looks as if that's heading for monthly 153.80. 154.50 is the 200 EMA. The data that's coming out, like I said, is the UK GDP. If the UK GDP is higher, and some believe it is, higher than expected 0.6, then we're going to see that monthly pivot tested quite quickly when we get there. And the date of that is UK GDP is on Thursday. You got to wait till Thursday. Okay, let's look at the euro. This euro is fairly similar, so this is still a bull flag. We had this massive move to the upside on the 10th of July, and we just keep moving. The pullbacks have been bought to 130, but we're just sitting up here at 131.40. Look at the weekly on this, however. We're just narrowly above that monthly pivot. So 133 looks like the target on that one for monthly R1. That's the euro US dollar. I think the one to watch is this one. This is a slow mover, I do agree. This is the euro pound. We had 3 days of selling last week. Got the 50 MA down there at 85.68. Let's look at the weekly. Couple of toppling tails. We come into this resistance area here and sold off. Well, not sold off. We're just not held it. I think we could see 84. I think we could come and retest the bottom of this channel at 84 if that breaks 86. So not a massive amount in it, but still potential for points. The daily's holding the 21 EMA. I would try and get short at 86.50. Try and get a retest of this resistance area up here to see if that can drop. Let's look at the CAD Swissy. Couldn't do it. Very feeble close on Friday. I'm still interested in this hammer though. All we've done is had a hammer on the monthly pivot on this daily chart, CAD Swissy. Moved up to the 50 MA, dropped back to this main support at 90-60 area. I still think we could bust up to that 92.50. It's not a great chart. We'll have to wait and see on that one. See if we get a better entry. Yen pairs. I think the pound yen is because of the data. I think the pound yen is by far the better chart. Look at the weekly. I would love to see 151.50, 200 points down from here. But not sure we're going to see that. If you look at the dailies, is only a pullback to. That's a decent bar up there. We're right coming underneath this trend line though. This is coming underneath the mid range of the channel, so we could get some kind of pullback there. I'd love to see 152. I'd be interested in 152. So I'm going to look out for that. Pound Aussie dollar showing great strength off that monthly pivot. I think that's a buy at 156. Sorry, 165. Sorry. Nothing else of note. So let's look at oil. Struggling under here. That is really struggling. I think at the very least we need to pull back to 107. It's very expensive up there, so I'm not going to trade that unless I get a pull back to 10. What did I say? 106.40. I'm going to hold out for 106.40. So I'm expecting some selling on that on Monday. Alright, so, but the pound yen is by far my favourite chart, and I would be patient to see the first part of the week can drag that down. The danger is we get a very shallow pullback, and we reach out for 154.50. Back to the weekly chart on that at the moment. That's the daily. Let me just turn this off. Clarify. Yeah, give us a nice clean chart. Back to the weekly on this pound yen. So massive resistance of 15650. Monthly R2 up there at 15785. I mean, if that GDP is good, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see that up at 15785, 158. But I would definitely be try and be patient for a decent 150 point pullback. Okay, let's look at gold. Gold on the weekly is just sitting under this 50% from the big move from 08 to 2011, coming up for 2 years ago. I think if we break that 50%, look at the stochastics. We're just really just whipping around this low level. RSI has been extremely low. I think gold's time may, well, it's already had a decent jump off the lows. We at least need to retest 1335. And that close on Friday was narrowly higher than all this sideways action. So that's a pullback at 1285 to see if that can at least retest 1330. Okay, stocks. Vodafone is a nice consolidation pattern. It looks like that could retest 200. Scottish and Southern is on fire. Yeah, from this support down here at 1460, that's now 1635. We've got a gap up there at 1660 area. Sainsbury's, let's look at the supermarkets. Sainsbury's had a good move. Resistance is 398 with 396. I would love to see Premier Foods drop back some. This area here is 73, 75 would be a good entry. M&S. Bounce right back up. Retesting that star up there though. If the GDP is bad, look for the banks and the retailers. Lloyd's just under 70. Moving sideways, very high or extended. Barclays. A nice move off that hammer at 280. That's a buy now at 310. Look at the US stocks. Potash. That's trying. And you look at this support down here, that is definitely trying. That's a higher low. A couple of days of buying, with a lot of red bars to the left. I still like this one. I still think this is a buy at 38.30. At least see if it can retest that 39.50. Bank of America working well. Baidu, that's on a storm. Storming up there after that. Coming around here at 900. Goldman's. So all these pullbacks down here got bought, and we're moving right back into resistance. So the market is very bullish. Dollar's weak. Oil's been on a decent run. So just flicking back to Forex a minute, as the US dollar, yen, slow move at the moment, and that's a great buy at parity. So by far my favourite is the pound pairs. You look at this on the weekly, so we didn't look at the, so I'm messing around here, jumping around a bit. But 2 weeks decent closes above the 61.8 fibs. I think we're at least major resistance at 15380. I think we could easily get back to 154, 155. Okay, so I'm buying pullbacks in the pound, standing back from the FTSE and the Dow at the moment, and waiting for the oil to come back to me before entries. Okay, enjoy the rest of your weekend.